Hi, I'm James Schillinglaw for Insider Travel Report, and I'm here today in Bruges. And I'm here with my guide for the day, Tom Peters, who's with Visit Flanders. And Tom just finished giving me a really an amazing tour of a place that I thought I knew, but I really didn't. And in fact, we're going to talk about where we are right now, and you're going to find out about that and more on Insider Travel Report. Tom, first of all, I want to thank you. It's been a wonderful tour. You had to do the quick tour for me, but first of all, tell us. This is a little bit out of the way place. So, what is this place exactly?
Well, it's still in the city center, let's say, but it's like a peaceful village in the city center. It's a convent. It's the Béguinage, which is on the outskirts of the city center, although all is walkable, but it's really calm. And this is where we had religious women living, and actually at this time still is the case. There's still a few women
still living here, and so this is where they would live. And there's a church over there, and it's really a peaceful kind of garden, and it really is an amazing part of Bruges that I don't know many people may not see. First of all, let's talk about where we started in the main square and the famous tower. But first of all, we are here at Christmas time, or just before Christmas, so there's an incredible Christmas market there, and it's surrounded by restaurants and cafes and shops and all kinds of things. But that tower is the one everybody knows, that icon. And talk a little bit about what that tower actually is, right?
Well, the tower actually, if you have a look at it, pretty often people say, like, is this a church or something? Because it's pretty unique. It's typical for this region, and it's high, and it's actually also the main tourist attraction, because on a bright day you can actually see the sea. It's also very interesting to climb to the carillon, which is like a sort of a musical instrument.
Which you can hear several times during the day, right?
So every 50 minutes, it's automated, but there's also live music on Wednesdays and during weekends. So it's really interesting. So it's nice for the view. It's nice for the history, it's nice for the architecture, and the music is amazing, let's say. And the square, you were talking about the Markt, we call it Markt, the market square, let's say, is where it's full of restaurants, where's also the Christmas market during these weeks.
And that's where I was walking around last night before I had a lovely dinner off on one of the side streets. But it's really a great time to be here during Christmas markets, right?
Absolutely, it's picturesque, it's all nicely lit in the evening. And as you probably have seen, it's full of restaurants, it's full of nice museums, it's all within walking distance, so it's really
And of course
easy.
That tower, for Americans who are familiar, is a little more famous for the movie In Bruges, which takes place here as well, where they go up the tower, and it's kind of, and I'm sure you got a lot of Americans and Brits who know that movie, right?
Yeah, it's already about 10 years old or even older.
Might even be older.
I think it was made in almost 15, 20 years ago, and still people talk about it. So it's really has been very good publicity. Correct.
Well, the fact is that these are two hitmen who come here and act as tourists, and here I am acting as a tourist. But there's a lot more to Bruges about that. Now, we went right around the corner there, and there's the town hall and places like that. Very interesting. And what are some of the significant things around that town square?
Well, this is where the city all grew from, actually, so it's full of history. You also have the Basilica of Holy Blood with a relic of Jesus Christ. I mean, it's if you like architecture, it's really interesting, let's say. And as you said, it's right next to the market square, so you go from one. It's not a hidden gem, it's like one very old thing next to one another, let's say. So it's all within walking distance, so it's full of history, and it's easy to go back and forth from one spot to another.
That's why this town is because it is really such a great representation of medieval times that really hasn't been touched, right?
Correct. So we had no damage during the wars, and it didn't get industrialized, so there was no industry in the city center. And that's actually one of the reasons why it still looks like it looked in medieval times. So we have the UNESCO World Heritage title because the streets still look like they were in medieval times, because there was no industry that actually changed the shape or the look of the medieval town.
Well, then the other thing you showed me is and I'd forgotten that this is a city of canals and rivers, and you can take little boat rides around. We have some trees being cut down behind us, but like that. And you can also really take a nice boat ride around the town, right?
Yeah, so it's a half an hour's trip, and I always recommend it. Why? Because it's from a different angle. You see some spots which you don't see if you walk around. So the city is walkable, although pretty often people don't see the whole city because you mainly stick to the Golden Triangle, so it's easy to walk a little further as well. But the boat trips are interesting, it's relaxing, and you see it from a different angle, so I always recommend it. You can always see different houses, and yeah, it's nice. It's interesting.
So then the other one is there is a church. If the tower is not the church, but there is a cathedral or a church here that also has a very famous Michelangelo statue in it, right?
So yeah, the thing is, it's the only Michelangelo that came to a different country when Michelangelo was still alive. Right. So it was brought by a Bruges tradesman. He brought it to Bruges when Michelangelo still lived. And it's actually what it makes unique. It was also featured in Monuments Men, that movie. So it's been stolen by the Nazis as well. So it traveled quite a lot.
It was traveling, and now it's back here.
It traveled from Italy to Bruges, to Belgium, and then it traveled to what is now the Louvre, and then was stolen by the Nazis and was brought back by the Monuments Men. So it's the whole story about it is really interesting. It's nice to have a look at it because it's made by Michelangelo. But the whole history, what happened with it, is amazing. It traveled a lot.
That's amazing. Now, and right around there too, you showed me another little hidden corner where older people can live. That they have set up housing that dates from the Middle Ages as well, right?
So we have a lot of almshouses which are pretty often quite hidden in the city. So sometimes it's pretty easy to walk past them and you see like an inner garden. But lots of times it's actually just sort of an entrance with a date on it. So the one we saw is the oldest, and that goes back all the way to the 14th century. It's called Room's Convent, and that's where people these days still live.
That's the thing. They still live here with the older women in this little section, and then in the other places they live when they get old they can live there as well, right?
Yeah. So they were actually built by the guilds. So I can talk about, for example, the Butchers Guild, the Bakers Guild, and they were the Tanners Guild.
We went through there. We went through the Tanners area, and this is a city of merchants. It's what was built on. It really was a trading city, and it became a center of commerce throughout this region, right?
So yeah, we actually know that Bruges already existed in the 9th century, and it grew due to the fact that we had links by roads, by water, let's say, and that's one of the reasons why all these tradespeople from all over Europe came to Bruges to sell their wines, their fish, raw materials, etc., etc., and that made Bruges that rich because that brought let's say artists from around Europe, royalty, and wealth, and so they made the city what it looks like right now. So in medieval times, it was one of the biggest cities in Europe.
Yeah, that I didn't realize, that it was one of the biggest cities, and it's not too far from the sea. You actually have a harbor that's not too far away, right?
The harbor of Bruges is about 10 miles away from here, which is not that far, and that also brings wealth to the city. That's still the case right now. Yeah.
So, and I just want to end. So my next stop actually is going to be a brewery, and this town is big for beer. You were telling me there is you showed me a few of the breweries and a few of the museums for breweries, but also you told me about there's a pipeline for beer, right?
Correct. So beer was very important because it was boiled, so it was safe to drink beer. And you're going to visit Halve Maan Brewery, which is very interesting. It's the brewery that always remained in the city center, and the bottlery actually was in the heart of the city. Right now it's a restaurant, so you can have a good meal in the Halve Maan as well. And the bottlery actually went to the outskirts of the city because it was safer to. Right now we don't have these trucks in the city center anymore, and they actually invested in this beer pipeline, which is actually pretty unique still right now. I don't know of any other brewery.
This is something I think is unique to Bruges, is a beer pipeline, and of course Flanders and Belgium, and we're here courtesy of Visit Flanders, and there is, of course, we'll get into that another day, the whole difference between Flanders and Belgium, right?
Yeah, this is the north of Belgium, famous for its cities like Bruges, Ghent, Antwerp, Brussels, and etc., etc. which are all pretty close to one another. So it's always interesting also to combine cities. So it's very easy to go back and from one city to another,
So
distance-wise.
it's another people, Flemish, and their language, your native language is more like a Dutch, right?
It is, as I told you, like an American talking to somebody from England or from Australia. So it's linguistically, it's Dutch. It's actually Dutch. Our culture is slightly different because we were always in foreign hands until, let's say, independence in the 19th century. So we were under foreign rule, we were Spanish, etc., etc. And these people kept us Catholic, and that had an influence on who we are still right now. We call ourselves Burgundians. And with that, we mean we like food. We like food.
What's not to like about that? That's amazing. I've eaten very well here. It's been a lot of great restaurants, and now I'm going to go have a little bit of look at a brewery museum about beer, and also hopefully get a taste of it as well. Well, Tom, I want to thank you for spending some time with me. Thank you. It was a great tour. I'd never really had a tour like this in Bruges, and I am in Bruges. I think of that all the time. And again, thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
I'm James Schillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.